Hello, welcome back to another video from Road Dog Speaks, and it is the day after the day of the general election, and we have a brand new government. Finally, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Tories out. Celebration. What are my thoughts? There's such a lot to think about on days like this, sort of the days after a general election where a brand new party and a brand new government is formed. After 14 long, arduous years of Tory corruption, cruelty, chaos, catastrophe, we finally threw them out the door and they are gone, absolutely decimated. I did think that my prediction was that they'd probably get less than 100 seats, but I think that was me just being optimistic. It ended up being the Conservatives got beaten way down to 121 seats, which is their worst result ever in their party's history, which is saying something and is probably quite humiliating for them, which is a good thing. And then Labour, massive majority, not quite as big a landslide as Tony Blair 97, but they have got 412 seats, which is absolutely huge and quite decisive. So they are now in power. The Labour Party are in power. It's interesting, discussing the results, because in a way, my thoughts are that this wasn't really an election where people voted with any great love for Keir Starmer or the Labour Party, or everyone was really passionate to vote for Starmer. Judging by the mixed results that we see, it was more of a very, very big tactical vote on a mass scale, just to get the Tories out, basically, and we achieved that. So, that's what happens when, everyone's very effective and, we get the message out and everybody does what they're supposed to do and, vote for the second best party who's most likely to get in to oust the Tory candidate, which, we achieved. And well done, everybody. I'm quite chuffed and pleased that everybody did their job on Thursday, and voted for the candidate best placed to remove the Conservative. So hooray! And the Lib Dems did really well. They had a really good night. They had 71 seats, which was not said in the original exit poll. I think that had to be slightly amended because the Lib Dems actually got more than predicted. Reform, sadly, unfortunately, ended up with 5. Again, that helped a lot of other parties out, because the Reform voters who would have voted for the Conservatives voted Reform, took a lot of votes away from the Conservatives, and you could also argue that helped Labour out, because if Nigel Farage and Reform weren't there, more people would have voted Conservative and taken a big chunk of the votes away from Labour. So on that front, you could also argue that, Reform helped Labour out a little bit in that way and sort of split the vote, which is, not going to complain and argue, but, on another perspective, Reform are getting 5 votes and Nigel Farage having a seat in the House of Commons, not fabulous, I have to say. That's a bit worrying. The right-wing sort of Reform Party having a bigger voice in Parliament, I think Keir Starmer and the Labour Party probably really, really should think about putting that to bed and addressing a lot of issues that those voters have got, especially with immigration and, boats, which, people are concerned about, people are worried about people coming over, but, if if you don't address those sort of concerns and worries that people have, and sort of say that they are genuine problems, more and more people are going to flock to, that base, and not going to vote for Labour in the next election, and they'll vote for Farage, vote for more right-wing parties, which we can see happening in Europe, we can see happening in France, etc., and in Germany, and it's not good. So I think Starmer definitely needs to address that. So we need to talk about vote share, which is really interesting in this election. We saw Labour, despite their massive landslide, only take about 33% of the overall vote share, which is actually much, much less than what Jeremy Corbyn got in the 2017 election. I think he got about 40% and still lost, which is saying something. If we take a look at Reform, they picked up 5 seats and got 14% of the vote share. So that's quite a hefty chunk. And then if you compare that to the Green Party, who picked up 4 seats and then got 6.8 of the vote share, and then only got just under 2 million votes. And if you compare that with how many votes Reform got, and that was about double, which was 4 million. It's just interesting to see which parties picked up how many seats in comparison to their vote share and the amount of votes that they got. It is quite interesting just to see, who is the most popular in terms of vote share. Lib Dems got about 12%, and that's about 3.5 million. And they ended up getting 71 seats. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy the way our voting system works, because it really isn't. If you think about it, it's really not that democratic at all. As I said earlier, this election really wasn't about voting with any great deal of love or passion for the Labour Party and Keir Starmer, because I think that their campaign's been very drab, very boring, very middle of the road, don't scare the horses type of campaign. And it was just very much, we won't say anything to frighten anybody. And, it got them to number 10. So I think now what we should do is still, hold them to account. They are the government now, so, whilst I'm happy that we finally got the Tories out of power for the first time in 14 years, which is something that we should be celebrating, regardless of what you think about, the Labour Party. I know a lot of you watching will have big reservations about Keir Starmer and really dislike, some of the things he's been saying, especially about Palestine and Gaza. And rowing back on his policy pledges, which have been a lot. And, I've certainly had a lot of criticism towards the Labour Party. You only need to go and watch my previous videos about it to know how fed up I was. So, we have to keep on holding him to account. And when he does wrong and when the party does wrong, we call them out, just like we always do. And just see what happens, I guess. I mean, we've now seen the latest cabinet appointments, and that's kind of fairly positive, putting people into positions where they've actually got some experience of what their job role is. So Angela Rayner, Secretary of State for Levelling Up and Housing, considering she's from a background of having grown up in social housing, pretty good. You've got Ed Miliband, who's Secretary of State for Energy and Climate Change. He's very passionate about that and has written a book on it, so that is a good thing. Yvette Cooper is Home Secretary, David Lammy is Foreign Secretary, Rachel Reeves as Chancellor. Yeah, like I say, we just have to wait and see what they do and, ask questions when they slip up and make mistakes, and hopefully the new makeup of the Commons will do that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the general election just gone. I think we can all sort of breathe a semi-sigh of relief. Yeah, I'm just really, really glad that we did it. We got the Tories out. That was the main goal, I think. Everybody in the country did their duty and we did it. So well done, everybody. Yeah, keep on fighting the good fight, guys. And don't forget to like this video, comment, and please subscribe if you like what you see. And I'll be back again with more videos in this new Labour government period very soon. So yeah, see you later, guys. Bye.